Hey guys, welcome to today's episode of Tips and Tricks. Today we're going to focus on mid laners. But if you don't main mid, it's okay, it's still good to know these things. Today we're not going to talk about roaming specifically, but what to do when your enemy roams. In today's example, we're going to have the purple side mid laner roaming bot, just because I think that's more likely to happen, really, seeing as how the purple side has two ways that they can come in for a gank. So it's just, it's just best to focus on that. So how do you know when somebody's probably gonna roam? Well, some of the best signs or the tall tale signs are, let's say you just had a skirmish in mid and you got away with your life. So you run all the way back here to B, right? And say they B as well. This could set them up for a roam. They could just leave base and immediately come straight down here. Not saying that always happens, but it's possible. Trust me, I've seen it. Another sign is they've pushed you. So say you had to be for some reason, or you're on your way to lane, or you're even in lane and being pushed. When the enemy has their minions right in about here, it draws turret aggro. So this is an opportune time for them to come through river. Ooh, that one's a little wild. Come through river and to gank the bot lane. This is just all ways that they're gonna gank. Or also another way to know that they're gonna gank is if they're Mia and you have vision here, 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 or even here, like here or here, then they're roaming. Well, especially down here, it's already too late. But other than that, that's some ways that you can tell if your enemy's gonna roam. Now, what should you do when your enemy roams? Well, there are certain situations that call for different things. The very first thing that you should do anytime, this applies to any lane. If you can't see your enemy, throw up those big question marks. This lets your teammates know, hey, I don't know where these guys are. Even if you think they're just gonna go ward like a bush, throw up that ping. Just, better safe than sorry, really. Excuse me. Now, the next things to do are, depending on your situation, you can counter roam or you can pressure mid. So say they're already way down here. Chances are you're not gonna make it to them by the time they get done ganking your bot lane. So the best thing to do would be to take all these minions and just shove them right into this turret, because by doing that, the turret's CSing and it's stealing all the XP from the enemy mid laner, because the enemy mid laner's down here sharing XP with two other people and probably not worrying about CSing that lane. And of course you should be taking this turret. This is just applying pressure to the enemy mid laner, because believe it or not, turrets kind of win games. So that's one thing you can do. Probably my suggested opinion, because if you ping that your lane's missing, and you give some other people some warnings, then it's all up to them to take your advice, or to take your caution and back off. Another thing you can do is, in my opinion, when I'm mid lane, I always throw a pink here or here. If my enemy mid laner is roaming a lot, I'll throw one here, just to see if they come through this route. Also, here, of course, in these river bushes. But if you spot them before they're halfway through river. So this will be our little halfway mark. Let's say you're here. If you spot them anywhere in here, something you can do is you can roam behind them, because if your bot lane's pushed and they come through this way, chances are they're not going to stop. So by the time they get here, you're here, you know, and so you just come in and you meet up with your bot lane right here and you fight. You know, worst case scenario is nothing really happens. Well, worst case scenario is they get a triple kill, but you know, you could end up just being cleanup duty. But if they've pushed past this mark, chances are you're not going to make it before they finish ganking your bot lane. So I would just go with the other suggestion and just push. Now, if you're in base and your enemy pushes your turret, you're not going to make it here before this farm gets taken. And if, once again, if you spot them in any of these wards, I would follow them through this path or through this path. You know, and of course let these people know, hey, my laner's coming to gank you, be careful until I get there. You know, so these are just some few things that you can do when getting roamed on. Just counter roam or push turret. You know, if you're already in lane, and you know, I see this so much, and I hate when people do this, but I'll be ADC, and next thing you know, it's just like, boom, mid laner in my face. And then my laner, or our mid laner, is like right here, and he's like, oh, okay, so I'm gonna clear this wave, and then like by that time we're dead, and then they start to head bot. That is the most frustrating thing I have ever seen in my life. Don't do that. If your teammates are already dead, they're dead. Push this turret. You know, don't try to roam as well. You're not gonna make it. It's counterproductive and it'll cost you a game. You know, so like I said, if they make it past this little mark right here, then just push the turret. It's the best you can offer your team. Push this turret, create pressure on the enemy mid laner, force them back. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this little session of tips and tricks counter roaming. If you have any questions, go ahead and comment. If you have any suggestions or things that you would like to hear my opinion on, or strategies specifically, go ahead and comment them and I'll try to get around to them. Thanks for watching, guys.